Members, if I may, I don't want to say much during this process, but I do want to give a defense for our proposal and a suggestion that we take it seriously. You know, members, we are, I would suggest, in a crisis of leadership. And I think it's important for us to figure out how we got here. Now, let's think about California. California, even on today, on its worst day of the economy, California, nevertheless, remains the 8th largest economy of the world. It is the 8th largest economy of the world. What does that mean? That means we have $1.4 trillion of economic activity. That means we have a very diverse economy. That means we have a strategic location. That means we have ports and airports to move business. That means we have a fine public education system, a very prestigious University of California, a very thoughtful state university system, and community colleges to help our economy during times of transition. It's an extraordinary state that we live in. And the question is, for those concerned about the economy, is how we got here. How did California become the great state that it is? Well, it's what you guys call taxes, and it's what I call investment. California became the great state that it is because people, leaders with a vision, decided to invest in California. Our great governors had a vision of how we could grow this state. And how did we do that? Well, we invested, you would call it taxes, we invested in education. And we were the #1 spending state on education. We invested in infrastructure. And we created this incredible state and this incredible culture of the automobile. We invested in parks, and we built the largest social welfare state in the nation. We did that under the leadership of Governor Ronald Reagan. And so we created the 8th largest economy of the world. And it hummed along with the great investments, the great research and development, the great infrastructure, the great waterways. We moved ourselves to be positioned in the whole world, a place where more than 220 nations would look with envy upon us. Look with envy upon us. Now we're challenged to see today of whether or not we want to maintain this commitment to greatness, to maintain this commitment to being and continuing the great state that we are. And that challenge comes, I say to you, because for too long, for the last 30 years, we have nitpicked and tweaked at and assaulted the very great state that we are. And so for 30 years, what we've seen is people say that we could have, Lou Correa.
Members.
We have said that you could have more for less. We have said and heard people say that government is the problem. We have heard people say that the 9 scariest words are, I'm from the government and I'm here to help. We have even heard people refer to this great state and this great nation as a monster, and that we have to starve the beast. And that's how we got here, because it's this effort of trying to say that we could have more for less. And so today, Ron Calderon, today, we're in this very Orwellian discussion. Today, we're talking about creating jobs by cutting jobs. I mean, that just seems Orwellian to me. We're going to create jobs by cutting jobs. We're here for the economy, but the very acts that are being proposed undermine the economy. These cuts to education, this dumbing down of California will be the doom for this state, and if we're followed, it'll be the doom for this nation. We say we're for the middle class, but we undermine the very aspects and elements of what it is to live in a middle class community, to live safe and secure. We cut public safety, we cut quality schools, We cut cops and firefighters. We close libraries and parks. We say we're for the middle class, but our proposals go right against the very core of what it is to be middle class. We cut health care. We cut welfare. We are attacking what we have been so proud of in the past. Now let's talk about the electorate and what they said. First of all, there's 38 million people that live in California. 17 million are registered. 4 million took the time to vote, and 2.7 million voted on that day. 2.7 million. Some were told, as Abel Maldonado said, some were told, don't vote for this, because we want to save for a rainy day. I have to tell you, it's raining cats and dogs outside. It might be 110 degrees, but it's raining cats and dogs outside. We were also told to do your job and don't tax me. Now, I, like Alex Padilla, and all of us have gone and talked to our electorate. I had a particular time that I focused talking to the electorate in a community that was a lot more conservative than downtown Los Angeles or Santa Cruz or Santa Monica or San Francisco. And you know what? It's amazing that if you take the time to talk to voters and you explain to them and engage them in conversations about their families, their hopes, their aspirations, about what their vision is for their families and their communities in this state, I found almost without exception, none of them would be for the VLF cuts. None of them thought that when they were going to cut the car tax, quote, close quote, that somehow the money they saved was going to be sufficient for them to pay for more cops in their community, more teachers in their schools, and better infrastructure to get to their jobs. No one thought that. And I found that today, given that opportunity, most would be willing to reinvest. We saw in the polls that followed shortly the elections that people are willing to join the 47 other states that take advantage of the resources that come from having oil in your state. And we found that even smokers are willing to pay more taxes, because at the end of the day, they know that at some point they'll stop and we'll be healthier and we'll have the resources and the investments to make California great. And so I come to you with my favorite saying. Martin Luther King said, the measure of a man is not where he stands at times of comfort and convenience, but where he stands in times of crisis and controversy. The real man will jeopardize his standing in his community and his prestige and even his life to help his fellow man. We are clear as Democrats that we are not going to cut the poor, the working class, and the middle class. We are uncompromising on that position. We are willing to take positions that are unpopular.
Okay.
We're willing to take positions that will not help our careers. But we do so because we want to stand as men and women at this time of conflict and controversy. We want to reach out and help our fellow man. We want to be that legislature that stood for California, its past, its present, and its future. I ask for an aye on the proposition.